Thank you for joining me today for the second session of the Get That Job webinar series, where we are going to focus on preparing for the interview. Objectives for this session include reviewing the stages of the interview process, demonstrating successful interviewing strategies, and visualizing interview success by putting yourself in a positive frame of mind. The purpose of the interview. Remember, you're there to gather as much information as you about the employer, just as they are to gather as much information as they can about you. It's a mutually beneficial process. To provide the employer with information about you not already contained on the application, resume, or cover letter. To evaluate your personality, your attitude, values, communication skills, motivation, and interest. Also, to enable you to obtain information about the employer. Regardless of the outcome, view every interview as an information gathering session, where it'd be a chance to learn an opportunity to demonstrate your abilities. When you're confident in your abilities, successful athletes and actors can't hardly wait to get in that spotlight. You should have the same attitude. 5 objectives of the interview. Remember, the interview process is a buyer-seller scenario. The interview has a problem, and you are the potential solution to the problem. It's ideal to obtain a definition of the ideal candidate for the job and then do your best to convince the interviewer that you are that ideal candidate. Goal is to present yourself as the solution to that problem by creating a favorable first impression, obtain a description of the ideal candidate for the position, present yourself as the ideal candidate, overcome and neutralize objection, close, get a second interview, or a job offer. This will give you a little insight on what employers are thinking during the interview, and as they're looking at your resume, they're thinking, can this candidate do the job? Does this candidate fit into our company culture? What is the risk of hiring this candidate? And can we agree on compensation? Here are 3 keys to interview success. First, you need to plan to do your research before your interview. Also, become an industry specialist. Become knowledgeable about the employer's competitors. Learn the buzzwords for that particular industry or organization. It may sound obvious, but you know what specific position, if for hire, title, and job description. Consider the interview forum itself. Is it going to be informal, formal? Is it going to be in an office setting, or is it just going to be over lunch? Also, strategize. Strategize from the employer's point of view. Visualize yourself on the other side of the desk. Would you be impressed? What type of physical appearance do you think they're expecting or looking for? Is it a conservative employer or a business casual atmosphere? Will they be impressed with your level of education and research efforts? These things that 3 areas that you will be evaluated on: yourself and your personalities, of course, your abilities and your credentials, and your potential worth to the company. Basically, what do you bring to the table? The basic interview process outline is the interview preparation. Do your homework. Approach employers by phone or by email. Learn your employer's needs, the short-term and long-term needs. Of course, your ultimate outcome is for them to hire you. And post-interview is with some follow-up strategies, whether it's phone calls, emails, things like that. Here's an interview checklist that is very important when you're thinking about preparing for your interview. Of course, we discussed this previously, but also always research the employer. Know the business they are in and recent accomplishments. Always arrive a half an hour early. Bring extra copies of your resume, your references, and any other documentation that they may want. Make friends with the receptionist. If you must wait for the interviewer, always be patient. Remember the interviewer's name and always ask for their business card. Very, very important. The next one, give a strong handshake, smile, and always make eye contact. That is one of the first impressions that you give when you are on an interview. It's also important to bring a pen, notebook, and some type of portfolio or folder to hold your documents. Also, during the interview, speak slowly. Write down important points or topics. Of course, do not chew gum, smoke, or tap your pen or feet. If they are asking you to fill out an application, make sure that it is complete. Always let the interviewer start the conversation. Never interrupt or argue. Always, after you do your research, bring questions to ask the interviewer, and we're going to go over that later in the webinar on things that you can ask. Thank the receptionist upon leaving, and always send thank you letters to the interviewer. All right, here's some do's and don'ts for the interview. Do prepare prior to the interview. Do be on time. Be enthusiastic about the opportunity. Dress in appropriate attire. Establish rapport with the interviewer. Do cite your accomplishments. Do ask well thought out questions. Don't be late. Don't put down other people or previous employers. Don't be honest or lie. Don't discuss specific salary figures. Don't be pessimistic. Don't let the interviewer do all the talking. And don't, of course, bring friends to the interview. It's important to make sure that you take charge and direct the interviewer. Most people arrive in an interview with really no plans. Of course, you need to wait for the interviewer to direct the conversation. But when you are doing so, make sure that you lead the way after that. Most of the time, it's kind of passively or nervously how you respond. So, and it almost sounds like it's rehearsed. Just don't do that. Don't do that. It's important that you take charge and direct the interview in a better way. If you're going to be successful, don't wait around to be asked what to do. Rather, you look for the opportunity to demonstrate your ability to contribute. Confidence, of course, will go a long way to helping you get that job. Don't be indecisive. Both you and the employer have a list of responsibilities that an interview session is designed to showcase. All right, 5 recommended questions for you to ask the interviewer. In a way, you are like a detective. You are seeking clues that in hopes will result in a job offer. As you can appreciate, your body language is important during interviewing, of course. Here's the 5 things that you can or think about asking questions with the interviewer. Who currently occupies the position or function? What are you currently doing now in this area? How is that working for you? What are your plans for the future? What would you have to be convinced of to offer me the position? All right, 3 keys to strategic interviewing. Present yourself as a unique and compelling individual. Differentiate yourself from other candidates, and also emphasize what makes you superior to other candidates. Also, it's important that you emphasize your employment strengths and downplay those weaknesses. Remember, you are screened in because of your strengths and screened out because of your weaknesses. It's important that you discuss your positive attributes and how it will benefit the employer. Also, it's important to demonstrate your versatility through proper preparation, be in a position to answer any questions, no matter how obscure, and that within itself will impress the interviewer. All right, hiring authority fears. This is kind of putting yourself in their situation, the interviewer's chair across the table. Understanding hiring authority fears can provide you with good insight on what he or she is looking for when choosing a candidate. On the slide here, there's a few things the hiring authority will be looking for during the hiring process and surely doesn't want to see these. If you were hired, you would be incompetent, or would you need too much time to get your feet on the ground? Would you become unproductive and not willing to pull your own weight? If you were hired, you wouldn't put in an honest day's work. You might be sloppy and like constantly needing redirection or someone to check on you. If you were hired, would you be lazy? Would you only give the minimum effort? And would you need to be told what to do and when to do everything? If you were hired, you would frequently call in sick, arrive late, early, or leave early, not be willing to work any overtime. Also, if you were hired, would you be a chronic complainer, as someone who blames others for your mistakes? If you were hired, you would say or do something to disgrace the company or even with your coworkers. If you were hired, you would show no pride in your work area, or your appearance. Or, the last one would be you could be arrogant, rude, pushy, moody, things like that. Those are some of the things that the interviewer fears during the interview and trying to fill you out to see if this should be a concern. All right. With that being said, hiring authority desires someone who is aware of the company mission and brand, and that's why it's very important to do your research before the interviewer. They also desire someone who is a team player, who also has a strong work ethic, who is independent, who is dependable, who is responsible, and who is positive. You can clearly see that what the hiring manager is looking for with these. All right, guys, we're going to move on here. I know this is something that is almost everyone's concern is nervousness. Perception can be reality. If you visualize a positive experience, chances are more than likely then you're going to have a positive interview. Self-talk is important. Before you walk in the door, give yourself a little pep talk before your interview starts. Also, dress the part. Choose your attire based on what others are wearing in the office or business setting or whatever it may be. Dress like they are. Also, practice makes perfect. And I'm going to introduce you to the Kentucky Career Edge Interview Simulator that will help you practice until you're perfect. With this one, as soon as you log into your Kentucky Career Edge account, you will see what I have circled here in black with an arrow, the toolkit. Okay. If you click on the toolkit, you will go to this, very similar to where you went for the resume builder and the cover letter, and you will click on Interview Simulation Trainer. At this point, it will guide you, and here is an informational video that you can review. You will go through, once you enter your name, you'll start, and with that, you will go through a series of questions that is frequently asked during an interview. And this will also help you practice your answers. And after that, you will be able to go back and listen to your responses. Okay. If you get stuck on a question, you can click Get Coaching, and a quick video will come up where you can see Get Coaching there. You can click on that, and a quick video for tips on responding to that particular question will come up. Great toolkit to use. You can continue learning Kentucky Career Edge preparing for the interview by accessing the module in your account. Here's kind of an outline here of the module. You can see that you can watch videos, you complete assignments, and you can take quizzes to make sure that you are fully prepared for your big day. There's a couple of videos here, 5 keys for a successful interview. There's worksheets or assignments that you can go into for like my qualities, things like that, that you can look into to go into more detail from what we went over today. All right, guys, that will wrap things up for this. And please join me for my upcoming Career Edge webinar in the Get That Job series, where we will be continuing to discuss interviewing, where we were going to be going over the interview process. Feel free to contact me with any questions regarding preparing for your interview or navigating the Kentucky Career Edge. Thanks. Have a great day.